Deep inside your head sits an elite, invisible security system protecting your most valuable treasures, your memories, your personality, and your mental sharpness. It's a 600-kilometer network of microscopic blood vessels known as the blood-brain barrier, or the BBB. But here is the terrifying reality. Daily stress, poor sleep, and ultra-processed foods are causing this biological fortress to crumble. When this barrier becomes leaky, dangerous environmental toxins and cellular garbage spill directly into your brain. This microscopic chaos is a primary driver behind brain fog, memory loss, and devastating diseases like Alzheimer's. In this video, we're revealing the shocking science of the leaky brain and the exact daily habits you can use right now to biohack and repair this fortress. Let's dive in. The accidental discovery: blue mice and white brains. The story of this biological fortress begins back in 1885 with a German scientist named Paul Ehrlich. Ehrlich was obsessed with how cells looked under a microscope, and he loved using bright, colorful dyes to stain tissues so he could see their structures better. One day, Ehrlich injected a vibrant sky blue synthetic dye into the vein of a laboratory mouse. Within just a few minutes, the mouse's blood carried the blue pigment everywhere. Its entire body, from its ears and tiny paws to its internal organs like the liver and heart, turned a striking, bright blue. But when Ehrlich looked at the mouse's central nervous system, he was stunned. The mouse's brain and spinal cord were a perfect, untouched, pearly white. Not a single drop of the blue dye had managed to get inside them. Ehrlich assumed that brain tissue was just bad at absorbing dye, missing the genius of what he was actually seeing. Without realizing it, he had caught the very first glimpse of an impenetrable shield surrounding the brain. 30 years later, one of Ehrlich's students, Edwin Goldmann, decided to flip the experiment upside down. He injected the exact same blue dye directly into the fluid surrounding the animal's brain and spinal cord, the cerebrospinal fluid. This time, the results completely reversed. The brain and spinal cord turned a deep, rich blue, while the rest of the body stayed perfectly normal. By putting these two clever experiments together, scientists realized an undeniable truth. There is a strict physical boundary separating the blood flowing through our body from the delicate tissue of our brain. Inside the VIP Club, how the barrier is built. To understand how this barrier works, we have to look at the brain on a microscopic level. If you were to take all the tiniest blood vessels, called capillaries, from an adult human brain and stretch them out end to end, they would reach a staggering 600 kilometers. This massive, intricate network ensures that every single brain cell gets a steady, non-stop supply of blood. In most places in your body, like your muscles or your stomach, blood vessels are a bit like a sieve or a pasta strainer. The walls of these vessels have tiny gaps between the cells, allowing water, nutrients, and molecules to move freely back and forth into the surrounding tissues. This open system makes it easy for your body parts to quickly get what they need from your bloodstream. But when blood enters the brain, the architecture changes completely. The brain turns into a highly exclusive VIP club. Rather than being a single, simple wall, the blood-brain barrier is a dynamic, highly selective, semi-permeable border made of a complex network of cells and structures known as the neurovascular unit. This elite security system is built from 3 primary physical layers working together alongside a few brilliant helper components. 1. Endothelial cells and tight junctions. The cells lining the inside of the brain's blood vessels are called endothelial cells. In the rest of the body, these cells have spaces between them, but in the brain, they are locked together by specialized tight junctions. These connections are fused together so perfectly that they leave absolutely no spaces between them, preventing most molecules from slipping through the gaps. Think of them like a brick wall where the bricks are sealed together with industrial-strength superglue. There are no cracks, no leaks, and no easy ways through. 2. The basement membrane. Just outside the endothelial tubes lies the second layer, known as the basement membrane. This is a thin, gel-like layer of extracellular matrix made of specialized proteins like collagen and laminin. It wraps completely around the vessels, acting as a sturdy structural anchor and an additional filtration layer to trap unwanted particles. 3. Astrocyte end feet. The third physical layer is made by astrocytes, which are star-shaped glial cells in the brain. These star cells extend long, tentacle-like projections, called end feet, that wrap completely around the outside of the blood vessels. This creates an outer shield that provides structural support and releases vital chemical signals, instructing the endothelial cells to maintain their ultra-tight junctions. The security helpers, pericytes and enzymes. Embedded directly into the gel-like basement membrane are specialized cells called pericytes. Pericytes are essential helpers that regulate blood flow through the vessels, clear out cellular debris, and help maintain the physical strength of the barrier. Furthermore, the barrier features a chemical defense system. The endothelial cells contain specialized enzymes, such as peptidases, that act like chemical guards. These enzymes actively break down or deactivate toxic substances right at the border before they ever get a chance to step into the brain tissue. The ultimate border patrol. Who gets in? Because the brain is so well guarded, the blood-brain barrier has to act like an extremely picky security guard. It cannot just shut the gates completely and block everyone, because the brain still needs constant energy to function. To manage this, the barrier divides everything floating in your blood into two strict categories. The safe list, allowed access. 1. Tiny molecules. Crucial gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide are so small they can slip right through the walls without any help. 2. Fat-soluble materials. Molecules that can easily dissolve in fats, lipids, can melt right through the cell membranes. This includes things like alcohol and nicotine, which is why they affect the brain so quickly. 3. VIP escorts. Essential foods for the brain like glucose, sugar, and amino acids, the building blocks of proteins, are too large to slip through the walls on their own. To solve this, the cell membrane has dedicated transport proteins. These act like a special escort service, grabbing the nutrients and ferrying them safely across the border. The blocked list, turned away. 1. Pathogens. Deadly viruses, bacteria, and fungal infections floating in your bloodstream are blocked cold. 2. Toxins. Chemical waste products and environmental poisons are stopped directly at the border. 3. Fluctuations. Even normal chemicals that spike in your blood after you eat a large meal are kept away. This keeps the brain working in a perfectly stable, quiet environment, protecting your memories, your emotions, and your every heartbeat from chemical chaos. When the fortress crumbles. The leaky barrier. The blood-brain barrier is incredibly tough, but it is not completely indestructible. Just like any fortress wall, it can suffer wear and tear over time. When the tight junctions lose their hold, the helper cells fail, and the structural layers get damaged. The barrier becomes leaky. Why does the BBB become leaky? Several major factors can cause holes to form in this protective shield. 1. Chronic inflammation. When the body is under constant stress from poor health, the immune system releases chemical alarms that weaken the tight junctions. 2. High blood pressure, hypertension. Imagine water rushing through a garden hose at 1,000,000 miles an hour. That intense pressure slams against the endothelial cells, physically straining and damaging the barrier over time. 3. Bad nutrition and toxins. Diets high in artificial, heavily processed foods, along with exposure to toxins like cigarette smoke or excessive alcohol, cause chemical stress that breaks down the endothelial lining. 4. The aging factor. As we get older, our bodies naturally undergo changes. For older adults, the cells making up the BBB become less efficient at repairing themselves. The superglue holding the tight junctions begins to dry out, and the helper pericytes begin to decline in number. This makes the older population much more vulnerable to a naturally degrading, weaker barrier. The dangerous consequences of a leak. When the blood-brain barrier leaks, the VIP club rules completely break down. Dangerous toxins, rogue immune cells, and nasty environmental poisons that belong in the body's waste disposal systems suddenly spill directly into the brain tissue. This uninvited garbage triggers irritation and chronic inflammation inside the brain. It disrupts how your neurons talk to one another, leading to symptoms like brain fog, confusion, and memory issues. For the older population, a chronically leaky barrier is especially dangerous. It is a major driving force behind devastating neurological diseases, including Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, and multiple sclerosis, MS. When the barrier is compromised, brain aging accelerates dramatically, causing cognitive decline and making it harder to retain memories or learn new things. Biohacking your brain. Lifestyle choices to strengthen your BBB. Here is the best news. Your blood-brain barrier is highly dynamic. It is not a rigid, unchangeable wall. It responds directly to how you treat your body. Whether you are young and building a strong foundation, or an older adult looking to reinforce and repair your existing barrier, your daily lifestyle choices can actively strengthen your neurovascular unit, supercharge your brain power, and reduce the risk of age-related diseases. 1. Fuel the fortress. Eat a brain-boosting diet. The foods you eat provide the literal raw materials your brain uses to repair its endothelial lining, maintain its basement membrane, and feed its astrocytes. Load up on antioxidants. Berries, like blueberries, strawberries, and blackberries, dark chocolate, and leafy green vegetables are packed with antioxidants. These molecules act like tiny shields, neutralizing the chemical stress that threatens to damage your endothelial cells. For older adults, antioxidants are essential to fight off the cumulative cellular damage of aging. Embrace healthy fats. Remember that your brain's cellular barriers thrive on healthy lipids. Omega-3 fatty acids, found in foods like salmon, walnuts, chia seeds, and flax seeds, are like premium construction materials that keep the cell membranes of your barrier flexible, yet incredibly strong. Ditch the sugar rushes. Eating too much refined sugar and highly processed snacks causes sudden spikes in your blood glucose. These spikes irritate the blood vessels and actively weaken the tight junctions keeping your endothelial cells together. Swap out the soda and candy for whole fruits and nuts. 2. Move your body. The power of exercise. You already know that exercise keeps your muscles big and your heart healthy, but it turns out your blood-brain barrier absolutely loves a good workout. When you engage in regular aerobic exercise, like running, cycling, swimming, dancing, or even a brisk daily walk, your heart pumps blood more efficiently. This steady, healthy blood flow releases a special gas in your blood vessels called nitric oxide, which helps keep the vessels elastic, healthy, and strong. Furthermore, exercise triggers your brain to produce a magical growth chemical called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. BDNF doesn't just help you learn faster and memorize things better, it also actively signals your cells to repair any micro-tears in the barrier. For older individuals, regular movement is one of the most powerful ways to reverse age-related weakening of the blood vessels. Aim for consistent daily physical activity to keep the fortress walls high. 3. Protect your sleep, the brain's nighttime repair shift. While you might think sleep is just about resting your eyes, it is actually the prime maintenance shift for your brain city. While you are deep asleep, your body releases specific hormones and growth factors that stitch back together any worn-down tight junctions in the barrier and reinforce the basement membrane. Younger brains need 8 to 10 hours of high-quality sleep, while adults and seniors require a solid 7 to 8 hours. To give your barrier the best repair window possible, turn off screens at least an hour before bed, since blue light tricks your brain into thinking it's daytime. Keeping your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet will ensure your brain stays in that deep, restorative sleep state long enough to complete its vital structural repairs. 4. Manage stress. Keep the chemical chaos away. When you are constantly stressed out, whether it's over school grades, work deadlines, or financial worries, your body releases a stress hormone called cortisol. In small bursts, cortisol helps you focus and react quickly to emergencies. But if you are stressed out 24/7, high levels of cortisol act like acid on your blood-brain barrier, slowly weakening the tight junctions and making the barrier vulnerable to leaks. Learning how to de-stress is a massive superpower for your physical health. You can keep your cortisol levels in check and protect your barrier by practicing deep breathing exercises, listening to your favorite music, spending time outside in nature, writing in a journal, or simply hanging out and laughing with good friends. The big picture: public health and your future. When we think about public health, we often think about washing our hands, getting vaccines, or avoiding air pollution. But protecting your blood-brain barrier is one of the most personal and powerful forms of public health that exists. The lifestyle habits you practice today are blueprints for the rest of your life. For younger generations, establishing these habits now protects your brain for decades to come. For older generations, adopting these habits today can reinforce a weakening barrier, helping to prevent cognitive decline and preserve independence. Every time you choose a handful of berries over a bag of greasy chips, every time you choose to go to sleep on time, and every time you step outside to move your body, you are actively biohacking your health. You are strengthening the superglue of your tight junctions. You are empowering your star-shaped astrocytes and supportive pericytes. You are upgrading the ultimate security guards of your brain's VIP club. By taking care of your invisible fortress today, you are guaranteeing a sharper mind, a healthier body, and a vibrant, disease-resistant future. Thank you for watching this video. If you feel it helpful, please subscribe to this channel and share it with someone you care about.